The crystalline throne room of the Zinthora Empire stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian, its walls embedded with the memories of 1,000 conquered worlds. At its center, Queen Veltharax, the Eternal, sat upon her throne, her 6 eyes fixed on the object that had haunted her for 700 years. The weapon of infinite. Collapsed, it was beautiful, terrible, and utterly broken. Daniel adjusted his maintenance cart, the wheels squeaking against the pristine floor as he made his way through the throne room. He'd been working as a janitor aboard the Zinthora flagship for 3 months now, ever since Earth had been diplomatically integrated into the Empire. The pay was decent, the hours were terrible, and nobody bothered him much as long as he kept the floors clean. "You there, human?" Daniel looked up from scrubbing a particularly stubborn stain. The Queen herself was addressing him, her voice like crystals chiming in a storm. "Yes, Your Majesty." He straightened, mop still in hand. "Leave that. Come here." Her golden talons gestured toward the pedestal beside her throne. Daniel approached cautiously. He'd heard stories about the Queen, how she'd personally conquered 40 systems, how she'd lived for over a millennium, how she never forgot an insult. He had no intention of becoming part of those stories. On the pedestal sat what looked like a massive rifle. If rifles were made of liquid metal and constantly shifted through impossible purple energy flickered weakly along its surface, dying like embers. "Do you know what this is?" the Queen asked. "A weapon, ma'am." The weapon, the Cascade Annihilation. With this, my ancestors shattered suns and collapsed dimensions. It was the cornerstone of our first empire. Her voice carried centuries of frustration, and it has been broken for 700 years. Daniel studied the weapon. Up close, he could see gaps in its surface, places where the flowing metal stuttered and stopped. "What's wrong with it?" The Queen's laugh was bitter. "If I knew that, human, it would not still be broken. I have consulted the greatest minds in 50 galaxies. The Vexian Collective spent 2 centuries attempting repairs. The quantum monks of Parvos meditated on it for 100 years. Even the machine gods of Proxima returned it with apologies." She leaned forward. "Why am I telling you this?" "Don't know, Your Majesty." "Because you're looking at it differently. Not with awe, not with fear. You're looking at it like it's a broken dishwasher." Daniel blinked. "Well, ma'am, permission to speak freely. Granted, it kind of is, isn't it? Just a really fancy, universe-destroying dishwasher." For a moment, the throne room was silent. Then the Queen laughed a sound like mountains cracking. "Approach. Touch it if you dare. Every scholar who has tried has been vaporized." Daniel set down his mop and walked to the pedestal. The weapon hummed, its surface rippling. He reached out slowly, half expecting to be turned to ash. His fingers touched the cool metal. Nothing happened. "Fascinating," the Queen murmured. "It accepts you." Daniel ran his hands along the weapon's surface, feeling the breaks in the flow. His mind, trained by years of fixing broken heating systems and malfunctioning airlocks, began to map the problem. "Can I ask you something?" "Yes." "When did it break?" "During the siege of Carthex Prime. My grandmother fired it at the enemy fleet, and it stopped mid-discharge. And since then, everyone's been trying to fix it with advanced technology. Quantum mechanics. Dimensional engineering. Of course. It is an advanced weapon." Daniel smiled. "Your Majesty, I think I see the problem. Can I borrow a tool from my cart?" The Queen gestured permission. Daniel retrieved a simple rubber mallet from his maintenance supplies. He returned to the weapon, studying it carefully, then struck it firmly on what appeared to be a junction point. The weapon shrieked. Purple energy exploded across its surface, patterns resolving into perfect symmetry. The liquid metal flowed smoothly, gaps, sealing, power building. The entire throne room lit up with violet light as the cascade. Annihilator roared back to life after 7 centuries of silence. Daniel stepped back quickly as the weapon levitated, fully restored, humming with barely contained power. The queen rose from her throne, all 6 eyes wide. What? How? What did you do? Percussive maintenance, ma'am. Sometimes when energy conduits get stuck, especially after a sudden shutdown, they need a physical reset. The weapon shut down mid-fire, which means the energy channels probably crystallized in place. All the quantum mechanics in the universe couldn't fix it because the problem wasn't complex, was just stuck, like hitting a TV that's got a loose connection. The queen stared at him, then at the weapon, then back at him. 700 years. Yes. Ma'am, the greatest minds in the cosmos. Yes, ma'am, and you fixed it by hitting it with a hammer. Daniel shrugged. Sometimes the old ways work best. The queen began to laugh again, but this time it was genuine, rolling across the throne room like thunder. Human Daniel, yes. That is your name. Yes, Your Majesty, you will no longer be a janitor. I am making you my chief technology advisor. Oh, that's really not necessary, I insist. And your first task will be to examine the 17 other unfixable artifacts in my vault. I suspect several of them also need to be hit with hammers. Hannah's voice crackled over Daniel's communicator. Dan, where are you? You were supposed to clean the East Wing an hour ago. Daniel looked at the Queen, at the now functioning superweapon, at the path his life had just taken. Hey Hannah, remember how you said I'd never amount to anything more than a janitor? Don't start, I just got promoted. Long story. Also, if anyone asks, hitting things with hammers is officially an advanced repair technique now. The Queen smiled a terrifying expression on a being designed for conquest. I like humans. You think sideways. We do our best. Your Majesty, as Daniel followed the Queen to her vault of broken treasures, mallet in hand, he reflected that sometimes the universe's biggest problems just needed someone willing to try the simplest solutions. Sometimes humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or strength. Sometimes it was just common sense and a decent hammer.